ہمیں درکار ہے تھوڑی سی جوئے کربلا والو، ارادہ ہے اسی جنگل میں اپنا سر کٹائیں گے، ارادہ ہے اسی جنگل میں اپنا سر کٹائیں گے، نہیں تا حشر بس تم سے جدا کربلا والوں، بلا کر سب کو حضرت نے کہا ہے کربلا والوں، خدا را مرنے والوں کو نہ روکو، راہ رہنے دو، مجھے لائی یہاں میری قضاء کربلا والوں، بلا کر سب کو حضرت نے کہا ہے کربلا والوں، ہم اٹھ جائیں گے جب یہاں سے تو پھر سب چین اڑائیں گے، بنے گی خاک یہ خاک شفاعِ کربلا والوں، بلا کر سب کو حضرت نے کہا ہے کربلا والوں، ہمیں درکار ہے تھوڑی سی جائے کربلا والوں، بلا کر سب کو حضرت نے کہا ہے کربلا والوں، لعنۃ اللہ علی قوم الظالمین۔ شروع بعد الفاتحہ۔
محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
بکھرے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے، زینب اجڑ گئی ہے، زینب اجڑ گئی ہے، کرب و بلا میں آ کے، بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے، ہاتھوں سے دل کو تھامے دوڑے ہیں شاہرن کو، ہاتھوں سے دل کو تھامے دوڑے ہیں شاہرن کو شاید گرے ہے اکبر، شاید گرے ہے اکبر، برچھی جگر پہ کھا کے بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے۔ کیسے بلائے مادر اصغر کا تیر خانہ، کیسے بلائے مادر اصغر کا تیر خانہ، چپ چاپ رو رہی ہے، چپ چاپ رو رہی ہے، جھولے سے سر لگا کے بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے۔ پامال کر دیا ہے لشکر نے جسم قاسم، پامال کر دیا ہے لشکر نے جسم قاسم، شاہ چن رہے ہیں ٹکڑے، شاہ چن رہے ہیں ٹکڑے، اپنی آبا بچھا کے بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے۔ زخمی ہے کان دونوں، بے حال ہے سکینہ، زخمی ہے کان دونوں، بے حال ہے سکینہ، دریا سے کون لائے، دریا سے کون لائے، عباس کو بلا کے بکھرے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے۔ ہائے وہ شام غربت، ہائے رسول زادی، ہائے میں غربت ہائے رسول زادی بازو رسن بندے ہیں بازو رسن بندے ہیں ناموس مصطفیٰ کے بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے زینب اجڑ گئی ہے زینب اجڑ گئی ہے کرب و بلا میں آ کے بکھڑے پڑے ہیں لاشیں اولاد مصطفیٰ کے
الفاتحہ.
محمد و آل محمد صلوات. ہائے اصغر ہائے اصغر ہائے اصغر ہائے اصغر ہائے اصغر ہائے اصغر اصغر کو لے کے گود میں کہتی ہے کربلا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا اصغر کو لے کے گود میں کہتی ہے کربلا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا 6 ماہ کا غریب مسافر کو سونپ کر کہنے لگے حسین یہ قبر صغیر سے رکھنا ذرا خیال میرے تشنہ کام کا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا مادر یہ بین کرتی تھی دل میں ہے یہ کسک سگرا تمہاری گود سے آگوش قبر تک اصغر کو موت نے کہیں رکنے نہیں دیا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گر نہیں ملا۔ ماں سوچتی تھی ڈھلتا ہے دن، ہو رہی ہے شام، جھولے میں لوٹ آئے ہیں شاید وہ تشنا کام۔ لیکن غضب ہوا کہ وہ جھولا بھی جل گیا، یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا ہے، یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا۔ جانے لگا وطن جو غریبوں کا کارواں، مر مر کے کہتی جاتی تھی ایک خالی گود ماں، رکھیو سنبھال کر اسے اے عرض نینوا، یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا، یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا۔ اصغر کو لے کے گود میں کہتی ہے کربلا، یہ وہ علی ہے جس کو کبھی گھر نہیں ملا۔ محمد و آل محمد صلوات۔
محمد و آل محمد صلوات۔ مرنے کے سوا کوئی چارہ نہیں اب بہنا، مرنے کے سوا کوئی چارہ نہیں اب بہنا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، کس واسطے یہ کس داغ پہ سر پیٹوں، کس غم میں پڑوں نوحہ، اس کرب کے صحرا نے ہر طرح مجھے لوٹا، کیا اون محمد کے مرنے کا زمانہ تھا، کیا اون محمد کے مرنے کا زمانہ تھا، دونوں کی جدائی کا ہے دل کو بہت صدمہ، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، ہر ایک کا نرالا ہے عنوان شہادت کا، ہر ایک کا نرالا ہے عنوان شہادت کا، قاسم کا میرے آگے پامال ہوا لاشا، ٹکڑے دل فروا کے رن سے تو اٹھا لایا، افسوس یہ مجبوری لاشے کو نہ دفنایا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، مقتول ہوئے بھائی سب میرے برابر کے، مقتول ہوئے بھائی سب میرے برابر کے، ان سے ہی دل قوی تھا وہ قوت بازو تھے، اس دشت بیاباں میں وہ روٹھ گئے مجھ سے، اتنا بھی نہیں سوچا کیا گزرے گی بھائی پہ، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، طوفان مصیبت نے ایک اور ستم ڈھایا، اکبر کو میرے رن میں سینہ پہ لگا نیزہ، مقتل سے اٹھا لایا بیٹے کا جواں لاشا، کیا رہ گیا ہے باقی اب جی کے کروں گا کیا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، کیا جرم تھا بتلاؤ اس بانو کے دلبر کا، ناوک سے گھلا چھیدا چھما کے اصغر کا، اس صدمہ نے دل توڑا یوں تیرے برادر کا، دامن نہ کہیں چھوٹے اب صبر کے محضر کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، ایک عرض ہے یہ زینب اس بے کس و مضطر کی، اب تم ہی نگہباں ہو اس اجڑے ہوئے گھر کی، ہو جائے خطا کوئی گر راہ میں دلبر کی، کر دینا عفو غلطی اس ننھی سی دختر کی، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، زینب تم ہی بتلاؤ کیا لطف ہے جینے کا، محمد اور محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔
محمد وآل محمد صلوات، جھولا جھولانا اسے اے زمین کربلا، لوری جسے اے زمین کربلا جسے نراشا ہے یہ بھوکا پیاسا ہے یہ جسے نراشا ہے یہ بھوکا پیاسا ہے یہ دودھ پلانا اسے اے زمین کربلا نازوں کا پالا ہے یہ راتوں کا جاگا ہے یہ نازوں کا پالا ہے یہ راتوں کا جاگا ہے یہ گودی میں سلانا اسے اے زمین کربلا خاص مسلمان ہے یہ اصغر ناداں ہے یہ خاص مسلمان ہے یہ اصغر ناداں ہے یہ پانی پلانا اسے اے زمین کربلا کامل ایمان ہے یہ فاطمہ کی جان ہے یہ کامل ایمان ہے یہ فاطمہ کی جان ہے یہ بھول نہ جانا اسے اے زمین کربلا خون میں ہے تر بتر یہ میرا رش کے کمر خون میں ہے تر بتر یہ میرا رش کے کمر دلہا بنانا اسے اے زمین کربلا چھد گیا سوکھا گلا رحم نہ اس پہ کیا چھد گیا سوکھا گلا رحم نہ اس پہ کیا تو نہ بلانا اسے اے زمین کربلا جھولا جھولانا اسے اے زمین کربلا سلوات
صلو علی النبی. آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا، اجرا مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں. یوں حضرت زینب نے کہا پیٹ کے سینہ برباد ہوئی میں. ایک دن تھا کہ چادر میرے سر سے گری تھی، سورج بھی نہ نکلا، سر ننگے پھرا ہے مجھے آج کمینہ برباد ہوئی میں. ایک دن تھا کہ اس شہر میں کرتی تھی میں شاہی، اور آج تباہی، بے غسلو پڑا مہر نبوت کا نگینہ برباد ہوئی میں. بھائی موئے بیٹے موئے، زندہ میں پھنسے ہیں، وارث نہیں کوئی، عباس نہیں، جیتے نہیں شاہ مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں. یہ نیل تماچوں کے میرے منہ پہ پڑے ہیں، میں کس کو دکھاؤں، نیزے کے تلے بیٹھ کے روتی ہے سکینہ برباد ہوئی میں. کانوں کو میرے چیر کے در لے گیا ظالم، مرے گئی روتی، یہ چاند سا چہرہ نہیں دیکھیں گی سکینہ برباد ہوئی میں قاسم نہیں اکبر نہیں عباس نہیں ہے آبی ہے تو بیمار یہ کیسا پڑا مجھ پہ محرم کا مہینہ برباد ہوئی میں آباد ہوئی کرب و بلا اجڑا مدینہ برباد ہوئی میں صلو علی النبی
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين صاحب العصر والزمان خليفة الرحمن إمام الإنس والجان ولعن الله أعداهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم صل على محمد. The Islamic perspective on minimalism has been our ongoing topic. Tonight is lecture number 10 and is our final lecture of the series. My last lecture is on Wednesday. That will be a little bit of a conclusion to everything. But in terms of content on this topic, tonight will be our last discussion. I am grateful, I am thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq of these past 10 nights with all of you. My first experience in Africa, my first experience in Dar es Salaam Jamaat. Before I got here, a number of people in Toronto who are from here or have family here spoke very highly of all of you. And they said that you will have a unique experience in your ashra with the community. And alhamdulillah, it was far beyond my expectations. I'm grateful to all of you, first and foremost to the Jamaat, for including me in these very crucial days. I am grateful to those of you who reached out to me, who gave me feedback, who approached me after the Majlis with your questions, with your comments, with your suggestions really. I am grateful to Brother Muhammad Walji for making my stay here very comfortable and putting up with my demands, all 1,000 of them. I'm grateful to his wife and his kids for letting me borrow him for 10 nights. It really is a sacrifice on their behalf. Those individuals who brought meals for me, who invited me to your house, opened up your doors and your hearts for me, I'm grateful to all of you. I had a good opportunity to go and see the Al-Mu'tazir school and the amazing work that Maulana Azim Shirazi and his team is doing. I had a chance to go meet some of the Bilal brothers. I had a chance to go see other things as well, alhamdulillah, and I'm grateful for all of that. And yes, I went to Oyster Bay. I had my mudaf, alhamdulillah. I had my kitale, I think it's called. And I really tried to kind of absorb the Dar es Salaam experience. And I'm happy I did. I learned a lot. In the process, I'm grateful to all of you. If I said anything to upset all of you in my feeble attempt to be funny, then please, I apologize. But please include me in your du'as. I will also include you as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The attempt since day number one, and many of you have been very patient with me since day number one, has been to introduce this lifestyle of minimalism, to live a life of a minimalist, a life of clarity, a life of focus, a life where our destination, our worldview is a little bit more stronger inside of us. The attempt was for us to move away from the era of consumerism, for us to understand our level of consumption in this world, for us to understand that we are not just a standalone individual entity in this world. We belong to a greater ummah, a greater body at large. And because of that, we must keep each other in mind as we continue to live in this world. So discussions like attachment, discussions like consciousness, our 12th Imam, all of that was wrapped into this very massive topic of minimalism. And I presented to all of you and myself a challenge to kind of look at life a little bit different. Just because everything has become norm in society doesn't mean those norms equate the values of the deen. If that's the case, we have a very, very difficult decision to make. The example I often give, and I've been giving throughout the Ashra, is to be that red-shirted individual in a sea of white shirts. To be that standout, that standalone, that one individual who is distinct from everybody else, because we will refuse to accept the norm. If that means it's going towards moral bankruptcy and away from God Himself, then we won't accept that. And yes, it requires a sacrifice. It's difficult, it's not easy. And in my closing discussion tonight, to wrap everything together, I want to initially discuss the topic of comparison. Now stay with me, please. I have a lot to say tonight. I have things to wrap up to make sure that we leave on a good note and not leave any notes that were left undiscussed. But initially, let's talk a little bit about comparison. First, let's look at those in history who have compared themselves with others, how they did it, and eventually their ending or their aqibat or their destiny. And we'll begin very initially with the first comparison made by Shaitan himself. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him an opportunity, shaitan now, to explain his actions. مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَّا تَسْجُدْ إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ. What was the mani'? What was that prevention? What was the veil? What was the reason why you didn't do sajda when you know إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ? I was the one that commanded you. It came from me. You didn't do it. Why didn't you do it, the Quran says. Meaning what? Now Allah is saying, I'm giving you a chance to what? To explain yourself. Okay? I'm listening, everyone else is listening. The floor is yours, the mic is yours. Take as much time as you want, but explain your actions to me. This was a golden opportunity for shaitan to really present his case to Allah. He could have said anything. Could have said anything. How many years he worshipped Allah. How he sees Allah. Anything he could have said. But the first thing that he said was, Ana khayrun minhu. Right? I'm better than he is. I'm fire, he is clay. And it seems like it's a very weak argument and a very low comparison. And he wasted his opportunity to really truly present his case. And right away Allah says what? قَالَ فَحْبِطْ عَلَيْنَا. Away from here now. Go from here. Or minha, sorry, go from here. You're out, you're ikhraj. You can leave now from my kingdom and from my garden. And that's when he asks Allah for respite. Allah gives him that respite, and you know the whole story. But that initial comparison made by shaitan was a wasted opportunity. He lowered this whole discussion of Adam and shaitan to nothing but clay and fire. Let's move forward to Fir'aun. Fir'aun now has a chance for him now to address or to present his theology to his followers, his ideology to his followers, his philosophy to his followers. When Musa now is presenting Tawheed and Allah, and Fir'aun is saying that, look, don't bother worshipping anybody but me, this was a chance now for Fir'aun to present his theology, his arguments. And look at the route that he takes. Again, these are all Quranic verses. They're not me. He says, Ana khayru min hadha allazi huwa mahin. I am better than this individual, Musa, meaning huwa mahin, who is, a rebel. He's turned his back on me. He's causing all sorts of problems. He's a troublemaker, basically. And then he goes all the way and really stoops to a very low level. وَيُكَادِ الْيُبِينَ. He can't even speak properly. Some Sunni Mufassireen have said that Nabi Musa had a speech impediment, that he would stutter when he talks. Right? This dua that we have, Rabbi Shahri Sadri, right? That untie the knots of my tongue, Allah, yafqahu qawli, so they could understand my qawl and what I'm saying. A number of the Sunni Mufassirin say this dua was because he had a speech impediment. He wasn't a very good talker. He couldn't get his words out. Now Shia Mufassirin don't believe that. We don't accept that. But we do accept the fact that when Nabi Musa was asked to ever address a crowd or a tribe or a gathering, he would elected to ask his brother Harun to speak a few words. Harun was a better orator. He had better command of the language. He was a good speaker. It doesn't mean that Musa couldn't speak. It just meant that he would rather give the floor or the stage or the mic to Prophet Harun. So he wasn't known to be a speaker, Nabi Musa. Wasn't known to be this great orator. And Fir'aun not only catches that, but he ridicules that. He's saying, you actually want me to debate with you and try to compare me with this Mahin? This guy who can't even say 2 words out of his mouth? If you want to discuss theology, look, there are people who present their various theologies, right, in this world, okay? There are atheists in this world who sit there and present atheism, okay? And those who claim to be atheists of today, sometimes from our own communities or our own Muslim communities, sometimes they don't understand the logical base of that belief. They're an atheist because they have a distaste in their mouth for not Islam, but for Muslims. Okay? So I'm going to make this point here while I'm in brackets. So maybe somebody who grew up being forced to follow Islam, forced to pray salat, forced to wear hijab. And because she or he didn't do all of those acts of worship, they were scolded, they were judged, they were punished. They were told they were going to be the inmates of hell. And when you hear that eventually without logical base, you begin to have this nafrat, this distaste in your mouth for the deen, but not because of the deen, but because of the actions of the followers of the deen. How many times have I had calls and emails from women who are being abused by a husband who has no business calling himself a believer, I'm sorry. And the frustration gets to the point where the wife tells someone like me that your Islam, Mulana, gave him all the rights to abuse me, to beat me black and blue. It's your deen who gave that right. And now these ignorant acts and these, disrespectful acts of a husband onto a wife now, all of that is painted with the brush for the deen. And so we leave the deen, we go searching for something to believe in, and the first thing that comes knocking on, first thing that's waiting outside the door of the mosque is atheism. Look, I'll give you a very simple example, okay? Syed Mutahari rahmatullah alayhi is a very beautiful example. He says, look, I want you to imagine that you are starving. Starving. Okay? To the point where sometimes your legs shake, your head hurts, you're just starving. And somebody comes and brings you some food in front of you. Okay? Please follow the example. Someone brings you food in front of you, you don't sit there and you look at, okay, is this healthy food, the calorie count, what grams of fat, how much protein. You're so hungry, you'll just kind of, eat quickly to fulfill that hunger. Today's youth are starving to believe in something. And if we don't give them the right food to eat, from the mimbar or from the homes or from the madrasa or from the elders, they're still starving, and they'll go out and they'll eat the first thing that looks appetizing to them. They won't stop and think, oh, does this make sense? Is it logical? Is it aqli? Is it this? No, it looks good, sounds good, let's eat it. And they begin to believe it. And then they start to believe that I'm actually one of the members of this belief. Meanwhile, I'm sorry, it's baseless. It's only because we weren't able to give them the right food that they went out and ate something else. If you want to actually debate, let's debate at the theological level. Let's argue. You have your points, I have my points. Let's debate at the intellect and the reason level, not at the emotional level. Don't go jumping in the lap of a different theology because members of your existing theology have no idea what they're doing. So I beg my youth today, please, Islam, you owe Islam at least this much, to learn the deen from the deen. Don't learn Islam from a man in your house or a teacher in madrasa or some elder in your community who, I'm sorry, doesn't quite have the deen down packed. Definitely don't learn the deen from somebody who's doing dhulm against you and think that the deen allows that dhulm to happen. Learn the deen from the deen. Fir'aun is now asked to sit there, and he could have debated Musa. Musa, come, let's set up an entire debate. You call your men, I'll call my men. You call your women, I'll call my women. We'll have an entire gathering, a huge crowd, and you and I will debate one-on-one. I will present to you my point, you rebuttal my points, I'll rebuttal your points, and let's see who at the aql level now is able to accept this theology. He doesn't do that. This rebel, this kid who can't even speak, you think I'm going to sit there and entertain what he says? You're going to sit there and put me at the same level as him? No way. Ana khayru minhu, I'm better than he is. And he compares at the very, very lowest level. Let's come to the Holy Prophet. I'm going somewhere. Please follow me. You've been very patient. Please be patient tonight. Lots to say. Stay with me. I'll go very fast. The Holy Prophet, the politicians, the wealthy, the elders of Quraysh and Mecca rejected the Holy Prophet's mission. The two groups that went running to the Holy Prophet were the poor and the young. A lesson for you and I. Khair. Why did they ignore the Holy Prophet? Because they couldn't fathom the idea that I am at this level. We are the elite of Mecca. And you want me to lower myself and come at the same level and accept this slave who I just owned yesterday to be my brother in faith? Are you kidding me? That comparison is there. How can I sit there at the same table as this low-income society? I'm the elite. And that comparison happens. Now, the reason why I bring these three cases up is because all three of them compared the person in front of them at the lowest level. And we know the destiny of all three of these cases. Shaitan was what? Banished from Allah's kingdom. Allah sends la'anat on shaitan in the Quran. Calls him aduwwum mubin, your open enemy. Fir'aun is drowning in the sea. At that moment he begs, now fine, I accept Musa's God. I'm ready to accept Musa's Lord. At that moment it's too late, Fir'aun. Your destiny is in front of you. The elite of Quraysh were forced to come and sit on their hands and knees in front of the Prophet and say the Shahada. Reluctantly, mind you, no doubt, but regardless, say the Shahada. Because when you compare yourself at that low level with others, you're bound to bring yourself all the way down to a level where you are desperate. And I say that because one of the things that's causing us to go towards consumption and consumerism is that we have mastered the art of comparison. Why can't I have her life? Why can't I have his life? Why can't we, the four of us, have their life? Why do they always get everything and we're stuck with this? How come she looks so happy and I'm miserable? How come they never go through hardship and I never stop going through hardship? To the point where we even go over to their house, like I mentioned a few nights ago, and the first thing we do, we look around to see the furniture, the size of the TV, how many cars in the driveway, the dishes, the cutlery, everything. And we go home, on our way home, all we talk about is everything that was inside that house. And we can't bring ourselves to call the same couple that called me for dinner back to my house, because I have a small house, Malana, a small TV, one car in my driveway. I'm not going to embarrass myself by bringing them, and why don't you come to my house now? I can't compete with this palace that I just was sitting in. Now a lot of you will argue, and you should, that wait a second now, Syed. What if we aspire to be better? What if we see somebody who's more pious than me, and I compare myself to him or her, and think, you know what, I want to be like him. I want that taqwa. I want that khawf ilahi. That's great. But that comparison is supposed to make you, inside of you, shoot for the stars and elevate yourself and motivate yourself. This comparison we do at the consumer level is something external. And today I really want to make a distinction between external and internal, and I will. Just stay with me. Because eventually what ends up happening is that the more we compare, we actually think that because they're content, I want that contentment, so let me mirror that life. So now I go beyond my limits. Remember yesterday's discussion, beyond my limits, and I actually start to begin a life, and I begin to actually consume and possess way outside of my limits, just to match and mirror this family or that family or this family. Because they look so happy, Maulana. They look so happy. Have you seen their Instagram account? There's just beautiful selfies. There's sunsets behind them, and oceans of water. I want that for my family. I want that for me and my husband and my wife. So let's mirror what they mirror. Let's get the same amount of screen. Let's get the same size of house. Baba, you can't afford it, but now it is very, very easy nowadays. Grab $50,000 credit card and just max it out. There are people waiting to collect your interest. Waiting. So here, you want 50 G's? Here's a credit card, no problem. Sign here, sir? No problem. Go crazy. And we end up now thinking that I have everything they have, but somehow I'm not as happy as they are. That selfie quite isn't the same as their selfie is. Meanwhile, you're drowning in debt $50,000 more. And this gaping hole inside of you gets bigger and bigger and bigger. How far are you going to go? Because the max, the dangerous area is that we compare to the point where we actually begin to believe that this is my self-worth. That I am my possessions and my possessions am I. And that's the danger that I want to talk about tonight. If I could pinpoint one common issue I have across the board, sometimes we think that East and West, the youth in the West are far different than those of the East. The youth issues, they're way more misguided than the East are, and these issues are completely different. And I'm here to tell you, this is my first Ashra of Muharram in the East. I've never crossed the ocean for the first 10 days. I was in the UK, but it doesn't really count. This is really truly a taste of the East in Muharram. And talking to these amazing young people over WhatsApp, over email, one-on-one, I can tell you that it felt like I was talking to people in Toronto. It's the exact same issues. So if my elders in the audience believe for a moment that, don't bring those switches from the West to the East because those West kids are way far behind than the East are, I'm sorry, I don't mean to destroy your bubble. Not the case. We live in a global village, man. It's the exact same issue across the board. And one thing I can pinpoint of many is that they have issues with self-worth. They don't believe themselves to be worthy of anything. Even as I'm talking to them these past 10 nights, they say, yeah, that sounds good in the member, Syed, but really on the ground, it's a different story. I can never achieve what you're asking me to achieve. I'm not that strong. I'm not that worthy. And what adds to that is the fact that we actually believe that my internal validation can be arrived with external validation. Validation meaning what? I want that stamp of approval. I want that stamp that yes, okay, you're a good person, you're a successful person, this and that. I want to be validated. I want to be accepted. It's every single person's want and desire inside to be accepted, of course. By their family, by their community, by their friends. It's a need inside of us. The problem is that sometimes we search for that internal stamp externally. We think the more I possess externally, the more I'll be validated internally. Gets to the point, I'll tell you these stories, they kill me. They kill me. Sometimes I'll go and, I'll be in discussions or talks with a community that wants to invite me for Muharram or the month of Ramadan. And let's say, for example, I say, look, brother, thank you very much for the invite. I'm sorry, these dates I'm not able to come and visit you, for this reason. And they'll ask me, where are you going? I'll say, I'm going to this city and that community. They'll actually sit there and try to convince me that we are a better community than that community. And they'll say things like this, that, say that community you're going to in Muharram, that community you're going to, they're a community of taxi drivers, man. We are a community of doctors and lawyers. It might be better if you come here. What are you saying to me? Like, do you hear what you're saying? Or worst yet, Allahu Akbar, worst yet, we have husbands who treat their wives as trophies. I'm sorry, please forgive me. We have husbands who work in corporate Africa, corporate America, corporate Canada, who have these big corporate dinners during Christmas time. Bring your family, bring your kids, bring your spouses. We'll have a dinner to celebrate the year. We'll meet each other and greet each other. And this is your opportunity to really showcase your wife. Muslim Ithna Shari Shia individuals. So the day of the dinner, say, honey, go out, get your facial, blow dry your hair, grab those 9-inch heels, put on that dress that I bought you, put on your 80 pounds of makeup, let's go. I want to introduce you to my boss, and I want you to look the best, with the hopes that maybe someone might look at you. You're going to bring your wife in front of men, knowing full well how men are and how they think. You bring your wife in front of men with the hopes that maybe my coworkers might say, wow, you got this woman as a wife? And now this new respect you have? Meaning you want the validation inside of you by presenting your wife as a trophy? This is who I married, this is who said yes to me? Is that what we've come down to? Is that a far-fetched idea? It's not, I'm sorry. Because we think that our internal validation relies exclusively on our external validation. And minimalism comes in to do what? To remove that shield. To unveil the mask. To say, look, all of this that I have shown you, that's not who I am. This is who we are. We're a simple family. We have a small house, one car, a little bit of furniture. That's fine, but we're content. We talk to each other. We're in love with each other. My kids actually enjoy my company. I actually like my husband and my wife. And that's difficult to do because you have to be very confident inside yourself to be able to remove the veil and say, look, this is who we truly are. And that's why a lot of people don't go down the route of minimalism, because they don't have that self-worth. And the Quran is giving you and begging us, do not do that. Don't compare yourself to others. لا تتمنوا ما فضل الله به بعضكم على بعض. Don't do that. Don't compare yourself with others when it comes to the fadl of Allah. Why did Allah give them this and not us that? Why did Allah give her that and not me that? Why did Allah give him that and not me that? Are you challenging God's system? Or are you, God forbid, are we, God forbid, saying the fact that, look, God gave her, he can't give me at the same time? There's no way. Why is hasad such a disgusting disease? Because you're challenging God's power. God does not have the power to give her and give me. So the fact that he gave her and not me is making me upset at her. That's a big slap in God's face, I'm sorry. When in reality, we've already been validated. We've already been validated. Not by anything external, but by our Creator himself. I don't know when someone like me will get it through my thick head that God is not the enemy. That God from day number one, before I was even created, validated me. The angels begged Allah, look, this insan, he's going to create corruption and fasad. He's going to create bloodshed on this earth. And Allah says to him and to the angels, what? Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. You don't know what I know about this insan. There is a gem inside this insan. There's a jawhar inside this insan. There's a jewel inside this insan. There's a tanzanite inside this insan. But sometimes we end up chasing consumerism and chasing consumption and chasing the dunya. We bury that jewel inside of us and then we go searching for it. It's not there. Let's look for it externally, outside. No, it's there, Baba. Just pick it up, clean it off, clean it, dust it, and look at it. It's right there in front of you. It's been inside you all this whole time. If you stop the chase, if you stop trying to compare Joneses, you'll see that jewel inside of you. And there's your validation. Now, whatever you have or don't have externally, Baba, it doesn't matter, man. I have my validation. I am strong in who I am. I have self-worth. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. These are verses you have all heard. We have already honored the human being. He's telling the angels, just quiet down now. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know that dimension of the insan that I do. I chose this insan to be my khalifa. We think that only Adam was the khalifa. No, khilafat is given to all of humanity. Every single one of you here are the khulafa of Allah. He chose all of you for that azim and esteemed job. He asked the mountains, he asked the animals, he asked everybody. They said, no way, we can't do it. Too hard. The human says, we'll do it. And he gave it to you because he believed that you could do it. He believed you could represent him on this earth. Look, think about it. The CEO of your company, okay, the big Willie, right, the big boss, the big CEO says, I'm taking a year off. I'm going on leave for 12 months. Now he has a role now to ensure that somebody sits in his place or someone represents him. Will he choose a janitor? Will he choose the first level, first year junior intern? He won't. He'll choose that individual that best represents his skills of leadership, that can keep the company flowing, that can keep the company going. Baba, he chose every single one of you. Allah the Almighty chose every single one of you to represent him on this earth. He saw something inside you sometimes we don't see in ourselves. وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We've honored that human being. We gave that human being distinction. وَحَمَّلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. And we took him from the land and from the sea. وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. We gave him from the طيبات, from those pure things, risk. وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And we gave the human being distinction. Distinction over every other creation that already has distinction. Meaning you take the best of the animals, the best of the planets, the best of the rocks, the best of the plants, put them all together, line them up one by one, the best of everything else, and the human being is higher than all those things. And with this jawhar inside of us, he places us inside this dunya, asfala safilin, the lowest of the lowest of the low. And can we maintain that jewel, that gem inside of us? Or will we allow this lowly dunya to come in and cover that jewel? Say, look, you're nothing but whatever you own. I am not my possessions are not me. When will we get it through our head that we don't need validation from those people outside of me, that tomorrow may not be individuals in my life? Look at what Imam Ali says, alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala. Beautiful, beautiful words. He says, قَدْرُ الرَّجُلِ عَلَى قَدْرِ هِمَّتِهِ. The value, the qadr of an insan is the value of their himmat, of their struggle, of their striving, of their passion, of their strength. You want to know who you are? Look at your himmat. You want to know your value as a human being? Look at your striving, your struggling. I've seen you today. I'm sitting there in that very spot after the majlis. I can see them fighting themselves. They pause to collect their words. I can see the frustration in their eyes. I can see the fact that, wallahi, he said, I don't want to be this way. I know I can be better. I'm just stuck in quicksand right now. I don't believe I can do it. I've made too many mistakes. There's no way God will ever listen to me. Meanwhile, God says, as many times as you have wronged your mother. Think about how many times we've wronged our mother. Our mothers. How many times have we wronged our mothers? And tomorrow if I say, Mom, I need you for this, she'll come running. If tomorrow you say, Mom, I'm coming over, can you make me those rotis you make? They're delicious. Bilkul aa jao. Of course, come. She'll be furious at you, but the next morning she'll ask you, do you want breakfast or not? Can I make you breakfast or not? That love is incomparable. Allah says that love times 70 is me. Times 70 is me. And still we want to believe that I have no worth, I have no value, I have no confidence. No, you belong to that Creator. That when we were nothing, He praised us. If you want your value, your qadr is with your himmat. He goes on to say, وَشُجَاعَتُهُ عَلَى قَدْرِ أَنَافَتِهِ. His shuja'at, their courage, their resolve is directly related to their self-respect. Their self-respect. We chase the dunya like the dunya was made for us, or like we were made for the dunya. We chase these possessions like we only have an X amount of years to live. The Prophet says you were not created for this temporary abode, you were created for eternity. When we stop and understand our worth and our value, then we stop chasing possessions and we look behind us and the dunya is chasing us. Understand your value. Understand your worth. Stop believing you can't do it. This is a life that I presented for 10 nights to all of you that's very, very doable. But it's an internal, external process, not an external, internal process. It's inside out. Your outward possessions should reflect your inner worth, not the other way around. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, where does this validation begin? Who are our validators? And I ask my parents in the audience, humbly, as a son and a brother of yours, you've been very kind to me for 10 nights. I ask you please a little bit of more patience with me as I send this message to all of you. It doesn't matter if you are a parent of a 1-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 51-year-old. The first place a child searches for validation are from their parents. The first avenue of self-worth is from mom and dad. Because there comes a moment where, for a child, their mother and their father are everything. Are everything. Anywhere I go, I mention this point. I see people in this audience who are fathers, who are grandfathers, who are new fathers, who are young fathers. I'm sure the same for my sisters. We live in a different generation. My father would tell me about him growing up in Karachi, Pakistan, and his relationship with his father, and the lack of communication. It just wasn't something that he knew. And so naturally now when you are a father, you'd simply just parent the way you were parented. But this is a different generation. We're dealing with a different mindset here. And the very first place that I need my parents, I have 3 kids, me included, that we need to validate our kids and give them the tools to go out there in the dunya and still hold on to their worth and their value is from home. You ever watch these small little daughters walk beside their moms? If mom is wearing an abaya, mama, I want an abaya. If mom's wearing a hijab, mama, I want to wear hijab. You're 5 years old, you don't have to wear hijab. No, I want to wear hijab. I want those 4 pins like you have. If mom has a little small bag, I want a small bag. There's nothing in there, but she walks in with a small bag. Why? Because mama is. Mama talks, I talk. Mama walks, I walk. Everything is mama. You look at these little small boys that come in with their fathers. Their fathers are superheroes to them. Baba can do no wrong. Baba has big muscles. Baba's 6'4". Look how tall Baba is. Baba's everything. Baba can beat up your Baba. My dad is smarter than your dad. How many times have you heard that? Yeah, so what? I saw one time my dad pick up a chair with 1 finger. 1 finger, wow. Are you sure? It was the pinky finger, I think. Wow. A chair with 1, yeah. And his eyes are glowing. I'm talking about my Baba. It's at that moment where you grab them and validate them. Give them the worth. Give them that love. Give them that compassion. If that means that you break the mold and you actually begin to be a little bit affectionate, that's okay. It's not blasphemy to grab your kid and hug him and kiss him. The Prophet of Allah says to a man who approaches him that, Ya Rasulullah, I have never kissed my children. He says, if you continue not kissing your children, you'll be the inmates of hell. That black heart won't get you towards the pleasure of Allah. I ask my fathers in the audience, if we're not able to validate our kids at home, then they'll search for validation outside the home. And that's where the trouble begins. Because the criteria for validation outside the home is different from inside the home. I'm not asking you to coddle your kids. I'm not saying for you to celebrate mediocrity. I'm not asking you to sit there and say yay to everything. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying yes, if it's okay if you stop for a moment, especially as a father, and look to your daughter and say, you know what, my daughter, you look beautiful in hijab. There's this glow about it, this noor about you, that's beautiful. And I'm honored that you are my daughter. I'm honored that you are my son. Malana, he knows I love him. It's tough love, come on. He knows, I tell him every year on his birthday, good job, son. Once a year is not gonna cut it. These kids need constant validation because they live in a world of glamorization. They live in a world that's very, very public. If they eat an apple, they have to post it on Facebook. Right? And wait for someone to say, wow, nice apple. And if they don't, they're like, oh my God, nobody liked my apple. And that has an impact on their self-worth. Forget the fact that you take 40 selfies, hashtag going to Syed Asad's Majlis, and you put on that picture, waiting for someone to say, OMG, with that emoji with the hearts in the eyes, you look beautiful. And that's their validation. And I'm sorry, that's the era that we live in. Like it or not, that's the era that we live in. We have to change the way that we parent and inject them with self-worth to a certain degree. I'm not asking you to create people who are egotistical. Yes, it's a fine balance between the idea of self-loathing, where I hate myself, I'm useless, I hate myself, I'm useless, to the idea that I'm everything and anything and I'm God's gift to creation. That's one extreme. There's a fine balance I'm asking you to achieve. But at least when these kids are younger, when they have the muscle idea of my dad, at that moment now, become their best friend. The Prophet says that when you are with your children, become childlike. Get on your hands and knees and let them ride the horse you call daddy. Get on your hands and knees and start to color with your child. This is your page, that's my page. Don't color on my page, I won't color on your page. And for the half an hour now, that's his Eid, it's his heaven. Baba is coloring with me. Baba, I think you should use blue. Fine, I'll use blue. Baba, this is a good chance to use red. I'll use red. Small things, wallahi. But oh my God. But if a child is grown up being told, you know what, you'll never amount to anything. I wish I never had you. Look at your other siblings. Why can't you be like your first cousin? Why can't you read Quran like him? And as that bombardment now, when the kid gets a little bit older now, there's issues. This chase of consumerism that's killing our youth, this chase of materialism, this overconsumption, comes from a deep down-rooted issue that they don't believe they're worthy. They don't believe they've been validated internally, so they search for it in their possessions. You can't find it in your possessions. And the second group I have to address, with all due respect, are my elders in the community. One of the validators of our youth today are the elders of the mosque. And I spoke very highly of all of you 2 nights ago, that what you have done, you've created these 4 walls for us in my generation and my kids' generation. May Allah bless you for that. You did something that we could never do. At the same time, however, there's many, many youth who are struggling today, who are drowning today. And sometimes they say, you know what, I'm coming through this mosque door looking for some sort of relief. And all they see is judgment from our elders. Comments from our elders, always scolding them, always yelling at them. They could never quite put their shoes right. They could never quite sit right. They could never quite do something that's good enough. It's always negative out of their mouth. When an elder calls a youth, come here, come here, come here, you can see the youth rolling his eyes. So here we go again. What now have I done wrong? And bombard and destroy and destroy. In the meantime, this kid came here for some sort of tasalli, some itminan, some contentment. And he goes out the door. When the same Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the same Allah, look at the beauty of your creator, that sometimes we think has it out for us. If for months and months and months we neglect Allah, forget Allah, ignore Allah, place Allah in a corner, and then we've hit rock bottom now where we place Him in front of us and say, look God, I'm sorry, I know that I've ignored you for 6 months, you know, my name is Asad Jafri, I have a problem, can you please help me with that problem? I know I have no business asking you. Have we ever been told that Allah will slam the door in our face? وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my bandas, when my servants ask you about me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Tell them that I've always been near. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةِ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I will answer the call, the one who calls, إِذَا دَعَانِ. Whenever they call me. 6 months after, 6 years after, 6 hours after, it doesn't matter. The moment you're ready for Allah, He's ready for you. It's unfortunate that we put Him in a corner. But now if that same Allah doesn't judge us, who are you and I to judge? Even if 6 months after that young person walks in on a random Thursday night looking for some contentment and people like me judge him, you're a validator for our youth today. It's a communal effort, I keep telling all of you. Don't find your worth through possessions. Don't find your worth through outer beauty. The reason why the hijab is coming off today, because they physically feel ugly in the hijab. They want to have their hair flow in the wind. They want to put up the selfie that they put up. They want to be free from this idea. And that comes from the idea that they don't feel beauty on the inside. So they're searching for that beauty in the mirror. And that's not the equation. The comparison of Shaitan, Fir'aun, and the Quraysh are in front of you. When you begin to compare things on a physical level, you're bound to go down the route of chaos and self-destruction, like Shaitan did, like Fir'aun did, like Abu Sufyan did. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So I present the challenge to all of you, the 10-night challenge. To myself, I'm with you as well, and to all of you, to adopt a life of minimalism, to restore that GPS destination, to revive the world view, to find contentment from things that actually have value, not things that have a return policy. I ask you, I challenge you to not live the life of individualism. Don't say yes to every desire you have inside of you. Detach yourself from the world. Prepare for our 12th Imam and be conscious in what you're doing. It's a challenge. It's difficult, I know. But a lot of what you are struggling with at the family level, at the individual level, will slowly start to remove itself when we adopt this Islamic lifestyle of minimalism. Help each other out in achieving that challenge. I ask the husbands to be there for their spouses and vice versa. I ask the kids to help their parents, the parents to help their kids, sibling help the sibling, elders help their youth, youth help their elders. Make it a communal effort such that not one person is ready for the Imam, the entire community now is ready for our Imam. What more do we want? And this is the place to begin. This is the place where we launch our challenge. The heart is soft, the mind is ready, the aql is listening. All of you now have those tools. It's a matter now of execution. Execute asking the Imam of your time for help, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Because the price that has been paid to bring the deen to us like we have it today is too high for us to throw it away sometimes like people like me do. To make it a second or third or fourth thought inside of my life. The price that Imam Hussein paid on the day of Ashura to revive the deen that was going, slowly slipping into the hands of Yazid and going down the road of destruction. It grabbed it from the quicksand and pulled it out. I said, wait a second. If my blood needs to be shed to save the deen, then bring on the swords. But even if my 6-month-old has to be sacrificed, then so be it. There's a greater cause. It's difficult to fathom and to understand bringing a 6-month-old to the Maidan of Karbala. To the point where some historians, some non-Muslim historians even doubts the existence of Ali Asghar inside the Maidan of Karbala. They're convinced that he was left in Medina. But our traditions, our history doesn't support that. It supports the fact that Imam Hussein absolutely brought his 6-month-old out in front of the enemy. And God forbid it wasn't to get some water for himself. But I ask those parents in the audience, you have newborns inside your home, to keep in mind, how big a 6-month-old is. And how the hardest of hearts and the blackest of hearts, when they meet a 6-month-old baby, they're bound to melt. Even they crack a smile. Even they want to hold that child. It gives you some idea of the savagery of the enemies of Imam Hussein. That sometimes we stop to think that how could the insan lower himself to that level, and then we see what's happening in Kashmir today. We see what Daesh did in Syria. We see what's happening in Yemen today. We think, no, the insan even today can lower himself to that level. One by one now, the Bani Hashim now are giving their life and sacrificing themselves for the deen. Some reports say that Imam Hussein could hear the crying of his infant Ali Asghar inside the tents. And Rabab says that, Mawla, our son is very thirsty. The moment that you understand that your child is thirsty, as I mentioned a couple of nights ago, you go running, you drop everything, nothing else matters. My child wants water, my child needs milk, my child needs something to drink. His lips are dry, his throat is dry, his tongue is cracked. Imam Hussein, I don't have water. Imam Hussein now takes Ali Asghar. May no father or no mother ever go through what Imam Hussein went through at this moment. The test of Imam Hussein is so azim. It's one thing to lose, a 20-some-odd-old. It's one thing to lose someone in their 30s, a 6-month-old innocent infant child. He brings out Ali Asghar and holds them up for the army to see. Says, this is my 6-month-old Ali Asghar. If you can spare some water for him, he's thirsty. If you believe that me as his father will take the water from him and putting him on the ground, you come yourself with your own hands and give him water. He is dying of thirst right now. When Imam Hussein brought Ali Asghar out in his hands, I have yet to read, maybe I'm wrong, anywhere where it says that Ali Asghar was crying, was wailing, his arms and legs were moving uncontrollably. When a child is thirsty, overly hungry, he begins to cry, lets you know that, look, I'm thirsty, come and feed me, come and give me water. But nowhere in our books do we see that Ali Asghar was frantically waving his arms. In fact, many shairs have compared Imam Hussein bringing out Ali Asghar to bringing out a juz of the Quran. He was still in the arms of Ali Asghar, Imam Hussein. He wasn't moving. How could it be that somebody so thirsty could not be moving? And one of my teachers, my ustad, reading the Masaib of Ali Asghar, explained this point very well. Devastatingly, he says that when you take a fish out of water and that fish now is out of water. That fish goes through certain stages. The first thing the fish does is that he goes from his stomach to his back, his stomach from his back, looking for water, looking for water. When he realizes that water isn't about to come, he stops doing that. His tail goes left, his tail goes right, his tail goes left, his tail goes right. The last stage, when he has no umid or very little umid for water, he's completely still. His mouth is opening, his mouth is closing, his mouth is opening, his mouth is closing. The way that they describe Ali Asghar in the hands of Imam Hussein, Ali Asghar is still, but his mouth is opening. The army of Umar ibn Sa'd begins to see this, and they begin to crumble one by one. Then what are we doing? This is a 6-month-old infant of Hussein. Umar ibn Sa'd, give the boy some water. Umar ibn Sa'd realized a revolution was imminent inside of his own army. He says, Hurmala. When Mukhtar arrested Hurmala after the advent of Karbala, he put him to trial. Said, Hurmala, tell me your role on the day of Ashura. He says, Mukhtar, I shot 7 arrows on the day of Ashura. 4 of them hit my target, 3 missed. Tell me about the 4 arrows that hit Mukhtar. Hurmala. He says, Mukhtar, the first one that I hit was an Abdullah ibn Hassan, the son of Imam Mushtaba, who came running out on Asr Ashur to protect his uncle. I shot the boy with 1 arrow that hit the target. Tell me about the second arrow. The second arrow was that arrow that hit Abul Fazl Abbas in the eye. That when he fell from the horse, he fell on that arrow. That arrow was shot by me. Tell me about the third arrow, Hurmala. The third arrow I dipped in poison and shot at the chest of Hussein on Asri Ashur. That when he fell, and Bibi Zainab says, until Zainabiyah, I saw people surrounding my brother. All I saw were the legs of my brother going left and going right uncontrollably. That was the poison from my sword. Tell me about the 4th arrow, Hurmala. Mukhtar, what do I tell you? Umar ibn Sa'd said, quench the boy's thirst. I grabbed a 3-pronged arrow I used for animals, and I shot it at the small Ma'soom neck of Ali Asghar. Our hadith says the arrow went in one side, came out the other, pinned it to the arm of Hussein. My Mawla Hussein took the blood of Ali Asghar, tried to throw it to the skies. The sky rejected the blood. My Mawla smeared the blood of Ali Asghar on his face. He has his 6-month-old lifeless inside his arms. He walked towards the tent. For the first time, my Mawla showed a little bit of confusion. What do I do? How do I tell the mother of a 6-month-old, I took your child for water, and he came back with an arrow in his neck. One time he went, he stopped, he comes back. The second time he went, 7 times back and forth. Inna lillahi. When he mustered up the courage to somehow tell Rabab, he says, Rabab, come and help me bury our 6-month-old. When somebody passes away inside of our community, the father is told, move aside, we'll wash your child's body, we'll wrap your child's body, we'll bury your child ourselves. You don't have to do that. No father should go through that. But my Muslim Imam was the one with his own hands dug the grave of Ali Asghar. I don't know how he took out the arrow. I don't know how he placed the dirt on that 6-month-old. But I do know one thing, that he stood there beside his wife and sacrificed Ali Asghar for Allah. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. معتم حسين يا حسين.
مٹھیا ہے دونوں بندے سینے کے اوپر دری آنکھیں کھلی کچھ رکھی خون میں نہائے ہوئے مارتے ہیں دست و پا ڈھونڈتے ہیں سرنسا جاتے ہیں پیش خدا خون میں نہائے ہوئے کہتی تھی ام رباب آؤ میرے شیر خواب